Armin Kepra, the harbour that listened. The container behind Armin shuddered again, metal groaning under the pressure of whatever intelligence pulsed inside it. The operations team backed away instinctively, boots splashing through shallow puddles as the storm intensified. The rain no longer felt random. It fell in sharp, rhythmic bursts, almost synchronized with the membrane's movements. Armin stepped forward, placing himself between the team and the trembling doorway. The analyst steadied her tablet against her chest. Armin, it reacted to your voice, to your movement. It's tracking us. No, Armin said quietly. It's studying us. The rescued man clung to the side of a supply crate, still shaking. It wasn't like this earlier. It was just humming. Then it started copying us. Footsteps, breathing, even the sound of the harbour bell. Armin's eyes narrowed behind the bandages. The buoy bell chimed again in the distance, once, twice, then a third time. Slightly off pitch, the analyst froze. That wasn't the bell. Armin turned toward the fog-covered water. The sound repeated, this time closer, echoing across the surface like a distorted recording. The harbour was mimicking itself. The team exchanged uneasy glances. Equipment cases rattled as the wind shifted, carrying the faint metallic scent of the membrane out across the pier. Armin stepped to the edge of the dock, staring into the thick wall of fog. The water below rippled, not from the storm, but from something moving beneath the surface. A low vibration traveled up through the wooden planks, stronger than before. The pier trembled under their feet. The analyst whispered, "Armin, what's happening?" He didn't answer immediately. He listened. The fog pulsed, the water pulsed, the container behind them pulsed, all in the same rhythm, a single, unified heartbeat. Armin exhaled slowly. It's not just adapting. The vibration intensified, rattling the bolts along the pier. It's expanding. A sharp crack split the air as a section of the pier buckled, wood snapping like brittle bone. The team stumbled back as a dark shape rose beneath the water, slow, deliberate, impossibly large. Armin stepped forward, unshaken. The fog parted just enough to reveal the outline of something emerging from the harbour depths, something that had been listening to them since the moment he arrived. The shape rising beneath the water wasn't a creature. It wasn't alive. It was machinery, angular, metallic, and unmistakably human-made. A submerged structure, the size of a small vehicle, broke the surface with a grinding hiss. Water cascaded off its armored shell, revealing a lattice of antennas, sensors, and reinforced plating. A faint red light blinked along its side, steady and deliberate. The analyst's breath caught. That's military hardware. Armin stepped closer to the edge of the pier, rain sliding down his bandages. Not ours. The device rotated slowly, scanning the harbour with a quiet mechanical whir. The vibrations they'd felt earlier weren't biological. They were signal pulses, low-frequency waves designed to destabilize structures, scramble communications, and mimic environmental noise. A destabilization platform, illegal, classified, and deployed in a civilian harbour. The rescued man clutched his arms, voice trembling. They planted it under us. We thought it was a structural failure, but it was this thing. It copied our movements, our voices. It made us think the pier was collapsing. Armin's eyes narrowed, psychological misdirection. The analyst nodded slowly, a weapon meant to cause panic before the real attack. The platform's red light shifted to amber. Armin recognized the pattern instantly. "Everyone back," he said, voice low but firm. The team scrambled away from the edge as the device emitted a deep, resonant hum. The water around it vibrated, sending ripples across the surface. The analyst shouted over the rising noise, "Armin, what's it doing?" He didn't look away from the machine. Locking onto a target, the hum intensified. Armin stepped forward, unshaken. "Me." The platform's sensors aligned, focusing on him with cold precision. Armin's voice dropped to a calm, controlled whisper. "They're not testing the harbour." He tightened his gloves. "They're testing me." The destabilization platform's sensors tracked Armin with cold, mechanical intent. The amber light pulsed in a steady rhythm, too steady, too deliberate. Rain hammered the pier, but Armin stood unmoving, bandages soaked, eyes fixed on the machine that had been buried beneath the harbour like a landmine waiting for the right target. The analyst stepped beside him, voice low. "Armin, this tech isn't on any registry, not ours, not allied, not even black budget." Armin didn't look away from the device. That's because it wasn't meant to be found. The rescued man wiped rain from his face, still trembling. They planted it weeks ago, maybe months. We didn't know what it was. We thought it was a seismic sensor. Then it started reacting. Armin crouched near the edge of the pier, studying the platform's antenna array. The angles were wrong. The shielding was too thick. The signal ports were military grade, but the configuration wasn't. This wasn't a weapon meant to destroy the harbor. It was a weapon meant to monitor it. The analyst's tablet buzzed with a weak signal. Armin, I'm picking up encrypted traffic. Very faint, very old school. Analog modulation layered over digital noise. Armin's eyes narrowed, Cold War-style masking. She nodded. Someone didn't want modern systems detecting it. The platform's amber light shifted to red. The analyst stiffened. That's an armed state indicator. Armin rose slowly. No, that's a transmission indicator. The platform emitted a low, rising hum, different from before. Not a destabilizing pulse, not a structural attack, a broadcast. The analyst's voice cracked. It's sending something. Armin stepped forward, rain dripping from his bandages in thin lines. Not something. He stared at the blinking red light. Someone. The hum intensified, vibrating through the pier. The analyst swallowed. Armin, who would build something like this? Armin didn't answer immediately. He listened to the hum, the rhythm, the pattern beneath the noise. Then he spoke. A group that doesn't want to be seen, doesn't want to be heard, doesn't want to be traced. He turned toward the team, voice steady. This isn't an attack. The platform's red light flashed faster. It's a message. The analyst stepped closer. To who? Armin's eyes hardened behind the bandages. To whoever put it here. The platform's hum cut out abruptly. Silence. Then a single sharp beep. The analyst's tablet lit up with a line of text. We see you. Armin exhaled once, slow and controlled. They know I'm here. The red text on the analyst's tablet, we see you, glowed like a warning flare in the rain. The operations team tightened their formation instinctively, weapons raised, eyes scanning the fog-choked harbor. But Armin didn't move. He stood still, bandages soaked, gaze fixed on the submerged platform that had just broadcast its message. The analyst swallowed hard. Armin, this wasn't random. Someone activated that transmission manually. Armin nodded once. They were waiting for a response. The rescued man stepped forward, voice trembling. We weren't supposed to find it. We weren't supposed to open that container. They planted it under us and waited for the right moment. Armin turned toward him. Who's they? The man hesitated, fear tightening his jaw. I don't know their name. We only heard a code name. A group operating off books, ex-military, ex-intelligence, people who disappeared from the grid years ago. Armin's eyes narrowed behind the bandages. Ghost operators. The analyst checked her tablet again. The signals bouncing through analog repeaters, old infrastructure. Someone's masking their location through equipment that predates digital tracking. Armin stepped closer, voice low. That's deliberate. Someone wants to stay invisible. The platform's red light blinked twice, slow, intentional. The analyst stiffened. Armin, that's a handshake pattern. Armin's voice dropped to a controlled whisper. They're trying to open a channel. The team exchanged uneasy glances. Should we jam it? One of the operators asked. Armin shook his head. No, if we jam it, they'll know we're blind. He stepped toward the edge of the pier, rain dripping from his bandages in thin, steady lines. Let it speak. The platform emitted a short burst of static, then a voice crackled through the analyst's tablet, distorted, masked, but unmistakably human. Kepra. The team froze. The voice continued, calm and cold. You are not part of the equation. Armin's jaw tightened. The analyst whispered, they know your name. Armin didn't look away from the platform. They know more than that. The voice returned, sharper this time. Walk away. This is not your collapse. Armin stepped forward, unshaken. It is now. A long silence followed, broken only by the rain. Then the voice spoke again, almost amused. Then we'll adjust the equation. The platform's red light went dark, the water stilled, and somewhere deep beneath the harbor, machinery began to move. The machinery beneath the harbor rumbled, a deep, mechanical churn that vibrated through the pier like a warning. The operations team braced themselves, weapons raised, eyes scanning the fog-shrouded water. But Armin didn't move. He stood at the edge of the dock, rain dripping from his bandages, gaze fixed on the dark water where the platform had gone silent. The analyst stepped beside him, voice tight. Armin, that wasn't just a broadcast. Someone is controlling this in real time. Armin nodded once. They're close. A faint metallic click echoed through the fog, not from the water, not from the platform, from the pier. Armin turned his head slightly, just enough to catch the sound again. A single footstep, controlled, precise, someone trained. The team tightened formation. The analyst whispered, "Where is it coming from?" Armin raised a hand, silence, another footstep, then another. A silhouette emerged through the fog, slow, deliberate, unhurried. A man in tactical gear, face obscured by a black balaclava, moving with the confidence of someone who had walked into hostile zones his entire life. He stopped 10 meters from Armin. The rain fell between them like a curtain. The man spoke first, voice calm and steady. "You weren't supposed to be here, Kepra." Armin didn't respond. The man tilted his head slightly. "You're interfering with an operation that doesn't concern you." Armin stepped forward, unshaken. "You planted a destabilization platform under a civilian harbor." The man shrugged. "Collateral pressure, nothing more." The analyst stepped forward, anger breaking through her fear. "You could have caused a structural collapse." The man didn't even look at her. They weren't the target. His eyes locked on Armin. "He is." The team raised their weapons instantly. Armin didn't flinch. "Who are you working for?" The man chuckled softly. "You think I'd tell you?" Armin's voice dropped to a low, controlled tone. "You already did." The man's posture shifted, just slightly, but enough for Armin to read it. Surprise, a crack in the armor. "You're here to measure me." The man's silence confirmed it. Armin stepped closer. "This is an assessment." The man exhaled slowly. "You always were quick." He reached into his vest, not for a weapon, but for a small, black transmitter. He held it up between two fingers. "This ends the first phase." Armin's eyes narrowed. The man pressed the button. The harbor lights flickered. The platform beneath the water powered down. The fog shifted as if pulled by an unseen current. The man stepped back into the mist. "We'll be in touch, Kepra." Armin moved forward, but the fog swallowed the man instantly, leaving nothing behind but the echo of his footsteps. The analyst rushed to Armin's side. "Who was that?" Armin stared into the fog. "Someone who knows exactly who I am."